for the key. And Minnesota had the lead at the half. The question was, would they have Ant in the second? Yes, they do. And the Warriors do try to mount a comeback. They're within 13 off the miss. Jaden McDaniels all alone with a throwdown, and the lead's 15. Actually got as close as 7 at one point, but Minnesota cruises in this one. There's Edwards. He had 20 points, 9 boards. Then it's Randall, who had 11 assists. You saw the one a moment ago, and 24 points. Here's Ant on the importance, the necessity of a Game 2 win.
I think it was the biggest game of our career, so I think we needed it really bad.
We've seen you go down before and get right up. Did that one feel different at all? Or
yeah, that one was bad. Y'all see, he like stepped on my foot, so yeah, that one was crazy. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, D. Hines, I don't know what he be doing, but my physical therapist, he the best in the world. Yeah.
Lots of ways that being an elite athlete pay off, and being able to shake those things off certainly is one of them. I thought we were pretty consistent there with everything other than the beginning of the second half. Other than that, was exactly the response that we needed.
Finchy Laga. Minnesota started the game, as I mentioned, 13-0 run. Did not look back. First wire-to-wire playoff win in more than 20 years. MVP Kevin Garnett led that squad to the first conference finals appearance in the history of the franchise. On the other side of it, Steve Kerr taking inventory on what has been a very eventful week and change for Golden State, heading home tied at 1.
It's a hell of a trip, to come in here and split the first two, coming off of a 7-game series, winning Game 7 on the road, and then starting this series 48 hours later. We couldn't ask for much more. I mean, this was very predictable how Minnesota would come out tonight, and sure enough, it was like 13-0 before we could blink. I mean, they came out with incredible defensive intensity. We knew they were coming after us. This is how it works. You have to, try to withstand the rush, which we did. Cut it to 7 in the second half, had our chances, but it wasn't meant to be. Minnesota played a great game. It's their game tonight. So
here tonight, and I was more impressed by the growth of this squad, right? And especially Anthony Edwards. We know he could go out there if he wants to and get 30 a night and shoot up a whole lot of shots. But as a team, they had 33 assists. That's growth to me. And right now, he's not forcing anything. Golden State is going to come out. They're going to play zone. They're going to put 2 people on them. And he's trusting others. If they're trying to make a deep run, which I believe they will, Scott, then that trust has to be there, and it has to start with Anthony Edwards. And by the way, shout out to him.
That's the same Rudy Gobert that when he was in Utah was unplayable in the fourth quarter. This is the same Rudy Gobert that's normally in the fourth quarter. He's unplayable for the Minnesota Timberwolves. But the Lakers were unable to take advantage of that, and he was able to be in the game, and he had an outstanding game. Kudos to him. But I really didn't think the Timberwolves early on played particularly well. I thought they forced some shots. It just so happens Golden State was playing worse than what Minnesota was playing. And like you said, they got out to a quick lead, and it seemed like Golden State was pressing from that point on, trying to get all those points back in one shots instead of, running their offense. And maybe Minnesota had a lot to do with that. Ocho, you watched the Warriors. They're playing without minus Steph Curry. What did you think about what did you see tonight that caused you some concern moving forward from the Warriors?
Obviously, once you lose Steph Curry, you already know it's going to be a problem anyway, winning a game like that. With them already being up 1-0 and knowing that Steph Curry is out, where's your production going to come from? Where's it going to come from? Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Buddy Hield? I think they can contribute collectively as a group, but without Steph out there, I really didn't give them a chance to win tonight's game. And like you said, the turnovers early hurt the Warriors in this game. And once the Wolves got out to an early lead with that 13-point stretch in the beginning of the game, it kind of set the tone from that point on. And at that point, the rest of the game, it is what it was. Offensively, they played very well. And the reserves for the Wolves played really well. They had 39 points. Nas Reed had 11. DiVincenzo, see, I know how to say it now. 11 points. NAW. I'm not even gonna say his first and middle name. He had 9, and Ant-Man did what he did. And Julius Randle, listen, Julius Randle was Julius Randle tonight. Now, if we can continue to have that the rest of the series, I don't think, even with Steph probably coming back in game 4, if I'm not mistaken. They don't have
Five.
Game 5.
The earliest he'd be back was 5. The
yeah.
earliest.
Yeah, they don't have a chance in this series.
Yeah. They look, Karan, you know this very well because you were on the staff when Jimmy was there. Jimmy can take over a game, but this offense isn't predicated with him taking the game over. You know, in Miami, they just give him the ball, put him in the post, and let him do what he does. This is a lot of flow. This is a lot of movement. This is a lot of picking. So I don't know if the type of offense that Golden State runs will allow Jimmy to do what he did in Miami.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to switch up the scheme quite a bit.
Okay.
You're going to have to find Jimmy on the move as much as possible. Then you're also going to have to give it to him, at the logo in different regions of the floor. But here's the thing: Minnesota is going to probably guard him straight up to begin with. You have Walker on him, if you have Reed on him, if you have Daniels or even Edwards, they're not going to send too much help. They're going to trust that they can guard him man up and, see if he can have one of those out-of-body performances and have a, rocket launch game. And the way that they shot from the perimeter, they shot under 30% from 3. So that's Draymond Green, 1 for 6. That's Kuminga, 1 for 3. That's Moody, 0 for 4. Payton, 0 for 1. Paz, 1 for 4. And Hill, he had a mediocre night, 4 for 9 from 3. So you're going to live with that production from them on the outside. And then when you post up Green, because he's not in triggers on the weak side trying to get Steph open, now all of a sudden the ball find him in the pinch post, and now they get to the X action where they just running the split game. So I would live with points off cuts. That's just 2 points. And now we're in the running game. If you miss at the rim, I'm funneling everything to Gobert, and now we're off to the races playing a fast game, and y'all wanted to be in the half court. That's the only way you have a realistic shot at winning this game.
Right, and the space is not there like it normally was. Guys are not scrambling because Steph is perpetual motion. So you always constantly have eyes. And a lot of times you get a lot of back cuts. You get a lot of guys not looking because I'm focused on Steph, and then all of a sudden someone gets an easy layup. Now without Steph, I'm not really worried about anybody. Really, the only guy that can beat me off the dribble is Jimmy Butler. And I feel with guys that we have, we can guard him straight up. Jaden McDaniels, as you mentioned, Anthony Edwards, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I feel we have guys that can defend him. I'm not sending help because I don't want anybody to catch rhythm at the three-pointer. And that's what happened. They allowed Buddy the first game, game 7 against the Rockets. The first game, they allowed Buddy to catch fire because we were focusing on Steph. Even when Steph left, they didn't see.
Món quà quý giá từ thiên nhiên.
Với sự kính trọng và thương yêu.
Nên tặng cho người thân món quà gì đây?
Quà từ Umican.
Khi mua sản phẩm với giá 98 đồng, 165 đồng hoặc hơn, sẽ được tặng một hộp C-Balance hoặc một hộp L-Camsum. Bạn sẽ được giảm 10% khi mua nguyên bộ những sản phẩm cao cấp và còn được tặng thêm quà.
Để bày tỏ lòng biết ơn.
Để bày tỏ tình yêu thương.
Hãy nghĩ đến Umican.
Em cũng muốn nhận quà từ Umican.
Double him. Do they not see him as a threat offensively?
They do, but that's just 2 points. I'm not going to put 2 on the ball and leave the risk of, guys like Buddy Hield getting open looks or Moody developing a rhythm all of a sudden outside, or someone like Post, if you put a stretch 5 or 4 in there, now he's making threes from the outside. And now, that game is going to be at Golden State. So now one of these guys have an out-of-body performance because